Now then, Roy Noble here until 5 o'clock, and as you may know, I'm unnervingly technical, a man with his finger very much on the 21st century pulse. Well, I make every effort to be anyway, and as a result I'm heading a campaign to encourage my fellow citizens, indeed, of a certain age to make that first click and get online with computers. You know about that. Well, Simon Martin from Bally is a man who's no stranger to the internet, let me tell you. In fact, he's making a bit of a name for himself. Simon gives online reviews of real ale. We're talking beer here, and he is now a familiar face to you on YouTube with no fewer than 53,000 hits. Simon's with me in the studio. Simon, you're very welcome.
Hello, Roy.
Good afternoon to you. Well, you're a bit of a celebrity, aren't you? You are now.
Thank you very much. I am now to get on the radio.
When did all this start then? When did this sort of thing of being on YouTube? Were you a beer buff before?
Not really, no. About a year ago, I was very amateurish towards it all. I got a bottle of beer. I've always enjoyed real ales, Brains beers and so forth. I've always enjoyed a good pint of real ale. Around a year ago, I was watching YouTube, and there was nobody in the UK doing it. It was just in America where people were opening up a bottle and enjoying a bottle, getting the flavours, the tastes, and basically marking it out of 10. So I thought, if there's no one really doing it in the UK, then why not give it a go?
Right. And you've become a bit of an expert now, because you've been tippling all over the place, haven't you? You know, you're opening bottles. You mentioned sort of, well, Brains there. We better mention a few others as well. You brought a few bottles in. And I noticed Thomas Watkin. It's a brewery I know very well. I could mention Rumney, who are there as well, aren't they? And there's Vellinvold.
Bull Mastiff.
Bull Mastiff. Is that Penarth, isn't it?
That's in Penarth, it is, yes.
Small microbreweries we're talking about.
Microbrewery, which are opening all the time over Wales.
Isn't your problem now the sheer choice out there?
There's over 7,000 microbreweries in the UK at the moment, and it's a bit of a forest fire from the dark days of the 60s and 70s where continental lagers really came over and dominated, but there's somewhat of a big resurgence in real ale. So it's great to see that there's so many microbreweries opening or have opened in the last few years.
Yeah, you're a beer man rather than a lager man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mind you, there are a few craft lagers which I do enjoy, but mainly I do enjoy a real ale or a craft beer.
Yeah. What is it about real ale then? What's your thing? You know, what you would say, oh, this is good because? What would you say?
I like the fact that real ales are live, matured in the bottle or in the cask.
Yes.
They're unpasteurised, whereas a lot of these lagers and sometimes bitters are pasteurised, and they're not quite. I like the fact that with a real ale, it comes out live in the bottle, and it just gets better and better with age.
What about the cask itself? You know, if real ale is put in a cask and is delivered and so on, you've got to shift it pretty quickly because it hasn't got the life of fermented stuff, has it?
No, that's the real issue, and also it's how the breweries brew the beer is fantastic, but it's the most important part is when you go to the landlords and the people running the pubs, that how they keep the beer. It's very important the beer is kept. Because
some pubs will have anything up to 10 real ales, but others then go down the trail of maybe 3 real ales and a guest ale that comes in for a week or a fortnight or something like that.
Yes.
And they have the guest ale, and then that goes and they have another guest ale. I know of a pub, I won't mention where, and they have about 40 to 50 real ales, but they ring the changes. Those 40 or 50 are not there all the time.
No.
You know, they ring the changes, unnecessarily so, I suppose.
And it's nice to have so much choice.
Yes. So the people now will come to you and they'll just ask you, you know, for your opinion on a beer.
Yes,
yes.
That's right. What type of beer would I want in the winter? Like I brought a nice winter warmer, Cwrw Gai from Thomas Watkins, if you'd like me to pour a bit of beer out for you.
Well, there we go. Well, we tipple, you know, because I've got a conveyance home, as they say. There we go.
Okay.
There we are.
So this is 4.7% in the volume.
Right.
It's a nice winter warmer.
Right.
It's cold outside at the moment, so. There
we go. There we are. That's enough. That's something you don't hear very often from Noble. That's enough. This is the winter warmer now.
This is a winter warmer.
Good for February.
So, there's nice fine bubbles in the glass.
Yes.
A nice head, and it's important to get the nose of the beer is to really wash the beer round in the glass.
Oh, you're talking a whiskey man here. Oh, you swing it around.
That's it. And then get your nose right into the glass and get all them fantastic aromas.
I bet you go to all these beer festivals, do you?
I haven't been to none at the moment, no. But I was with Wells and Youngs just last week. They had me up interviewing the head brewer
Yes.
of the brewery and doing a few of their beers on the internet. And they've invited me to the Great British Beer Festival. So they've got a Bombardier bus.
I bet now, because of your profile on YouTube and 53,000 hits, I bet you get microbreweries sending you beer now and saying we want our beer on online or
It's
you got
very
that?
much the case, yes. It started off with a company from Yorkshire who sent me 5 or 6 real ales,
yes.
Black Sheep Brewery. And
Oh, yes.
once one brewery
Starts doing that.
started to see what I was doing for them, I'd wear their t-shirt and
Yeah.
show off their branded glass. Then they were all kind of like, oh, this is a good thing, he's being watched, and we want to show our beer
Right.
on YouTube.
So that's the winter warmer.
That's
And
the
then
one
these
to
are
go
slightly
on.
different in all kinds of ways, because some of them edge towards stout, and some go beyond that, because you mentioned the American connection. They were doing it in America, they weren't doing it here, but you've filled this gap now.
Yeah.
But you've been sent beer from America that could probably drive a bus.
It more or less came out it was in a can. It came out like engine oil. It was called 1050. It was 9.5% in the volume.
9.2. Because most beers that you're talking about that come out of the pump, usually somewhere around between 4 and 6, are they?
Yes, very sessionable beers, which you could enjoy a night on. I think something which is more 9.5%. You're talking one can, and you may fall off your bar stool.
I was going to say, it's more like sort of treatment in some sanatorium or something.
Yes.
It's truth.
A little bit too much, I'd say.
9.4 is.
Yeah.
And the trouble is, I mean, would a landlord want that kind of beer? Because you're only going to buy 1 pint before you fall off your stool. aren't you?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you want to with our great British beers we got in the UK, they're all 4 to 6% in the volume, and you can
Right.
enjoy a few of them
Yeah.
as long as you're responsible.
Yeah, I'm stopping you opening the other bottle, aren't I?
I've got the next one is a Cwrw Half,
Summer beer.
which means
Lighter, yeah.
summer ale.
Yeah.
And this one is very, very
Lighter. I suppose.
citrusy,
Oh, is it?
citrusy
Right.
and light. I'll just
Yeah.
get a glass for you, right?
Clean glass. We're all being very hygienic here. There you are. So yeah. Oh, look at it. It's a different colour completely. One was sort of dark brown-ish.
Yeah.
That's right. Winter warmer, and this is very light now. Almost the colour of lager.
Yes. Almost. What they've tried to do now is to combat the lagers, to bring something summery
Yeah.
and light to enjoy in the summer. What you've got this hot day, you've had a good day in work, you want to go home,
Yeah. And you're
and
swinging it
enjoy
around
something,
again, so that
swirling it around,
so the bubbles get a chance. Yeah.
get the aroma in, get
Yeah.
your nose in.
Because the Americans, usually we go back now to the wartime and the famous troops coming here, and they say that all British beer is warm, which is something they weren't used to.
No.
So what temperature would you say real ale should be then?
Real ale is normally served between let's say 6 and 10 degrees, I would say. That's its optimum temperature.
Really?
It's, like I say, it's live in the barrel.
Yeah.
It's getting better with age.
Would you, if you had guests coming over night now, would you bring your real bottles of ale out ready like you bring red wine out or something?
I would.
Would you?
I get in quite a bit of beer now, and it's nothing like transferring a lager drinker
Yeah.
over to an ale,
Yeah.
and watch them and watch how they explore an ale and learn to enjoy it.
Right.
Nothing quite like it. That's my utmost aim
Yes.
on YouTube.
Different taste, but very palatable indeed. This one too, Cwrw Half, the summer beer. I tell you what, just open another one now and just give us a little review, as you would say, on your YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, right? So let's go for the other one, which is,
So, hello again. Welcome to
Yeah,
another
yeah.
edition of the Real Ale Guide.
right,
We've got a bottle of OSB Old Style Bitter from Thomas Watkins.
right.
It's 4.5% in the volume. It's a Welsh bitter. I'll just open it, pour it into the glass,
Right.
and we'll see what kind of carbonation we're getting, what type of head, what type of bubbles, what the beer looks like. Most importantly, smells and tastes.
Right.
So I've poured a bit out now. We're getting nice, fine little bubbles. It's a good 1 finger head.
One finger head, you put your finger on the glass, one finger
I
depth,
do, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I give it a depth
Yeah.
just to show them on the show. The good consistency to the head of this beer. It's nice and foamy, which shows us a fantastic beer. It's quite clear. It's amber in colour. So let's dig in and give it a taste.
I would say that you came on a train, didn't you?
I did. Left the car at home today.
Yeah.
It's leaving good
Oh, you're swinging the glass around now, so
Swinging the
gets a
glass
chance
around.
to sort of,
It's giving a good lacing on the glass
that's right. It means that the kind of froth is staying
Yeah.
on the glass. Yes.
as it's
You're
being
swinging
drunk.
around. Yes, that's
It's
right.
very fruity.
Yeah.
It's very mild. It's very sessionable.
Right. Sessionable. I like that word. In other words, you can get into a session with that, and you'll be fine.
Absolutely
Yeah.
fine with this.
And then go home in a minibus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes down very, very well. It
Right.
goes down very well. It's a very smooth. It sits in your stomach well.
Right.
And I could imagine hot day barbecue, cracking a few of these beers open.
Well, that's a tremendous review. I mean, do you only do this with Welsh beers?
I do beers from all over the world. I've been
Cool.
sent beer from Belgium.
And you know, I was going to say now you should be getting a gold medal from the tourist board here in the Assembly, in the Welsh Assembly, because you're pushing, but you are pushing Welsh stuff. You talked about Thomas Watkin, we talked about Vellingball, we've talked about Rumney and all these, and microbreweries like Mastiff, you said, was in Penarth,
Yeah.
and so many others from Wales as well. There's so many others that we could name, and possibly should. But we're really pushing out the Welsh product, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just last week I came back from Wells and Youngs. They were kind enough to put me on a train up to Bedford.
Right.
Put me in a hotel for the night. But when I got there, I did a tour of the brewery on the channel,
Right.
filmed a bottling line, reviewed a few of their beers on the casks in the pubs. So we had a little bit of a pub crawl. And it was nice enough to interview the head brewer of Wells and Youngs.
Right.
So we got the top man, the head brewer, and then his 8 master brewers under him.
Yes.
But I actually got to speak to the head of Wells and Youngs on the channel, and that's currently on YouTube now.
But there's a certain charm, isn't there, talking about microbreweries, to go, if you go to an area you've never been before, and there's a guest beer on the bar of the local pub, it's always nice to have a go at that, isn't it? Have a taste of it.
Absolutely.
Because then, you know, the microbrewery is very, very small, sometimes a one-man job,
Yes.
and he delivers as well. And it's nice to encourage it, and if it's palatable, and if it's successful, oh, it's a bonus.
There's a place in Barry, there's a well-known pub in Barry where you get these cask beers made from a very, very small brewery, like you said. It's Vale Glamorgan Brewery based in Barry.
Yeah.
And they've always got a Vale Glamorgan beer in this well-known chain of pubs. It's always there, so
Yeah.
it's nice to be able to get in there and always see what different local products are on cask.
Yeah. Are you going to get an award from Camera? Campaign for Real Ale?
Be nice to. It would be nice to.
Well, listen, many thanks for coming in. Congratulations on your profile now on YouTube. 53,000 hits. And after being on this program, it'll be 53,001.
Thank you very much.
No. Simon, congratulations to you. Well done. And many thanks for bringing them in. I won't taste a fourth,
Okay.
unless you force me.
Fantastic.
There we are. Pure now as the driven slush. I mean, I'm talking about my breath. We're not driving anywhere. You carry on, Mark.
55 still looking quite heavy and slow eastbound.
Well done, well done.
The last
Well done.
junction 23.
That was
really
good.
great.
On YouTube, on the Real Ale Guide.
There we go.
Those codes incidentally are in the process of being lifted.
There we go.
So